It is Tuesday. It's also the 23rd of July. We're almost done with July. Supposedly, I'm not sure exactly how this works yet. I will be getting direct deposit, a check, sometime between the 21st and the 26th from YouTube. This will be my first. I'm going to bring out my desktop here, guys. This will be my first payment from YouTube as a professional YouTuber. It'll be part of, I got monetized in June 20th. So it'll be part of June. And, right? How's that work? This is July. I don't know how it works. We'll see. However it works is how it works. My cat's here to say hello. We got Flower here. Flower says hi to Miss Barb. Barb says hello to Flower. And we get a Yogi. I heard you call and I came on a minute early. How is everyone today? What's new? How are you feeling, Barb? And how are things in your area, Flower? I'm just going to do a quick scan through YouTube. See if any of our friends are live. Barb says, hugs and blessings to one and all. Hugs and blessings to you, my friend. How are you feeling, Barb? As well, Flower, what's going on with you? Flower says, things aren't that bad. I saw a military car this morning and heard planes and jets all day, but other than that, yeah, everything's fine. Good. Glad to hear it. Barb says, Flowers, pray you stay safe. I'm joining you in those prayers, Barb, for sure. Prayers for our friend Flower. Flower says, I hope you get better, Miss Barb. Barb says, slowly I am. Thank you so much, Flower. Awesome. I'm glad to hear you're feeling somewhat better today, Barb. I know yesterday was pretty bad for you. I knew it was pretty bad when I saw you at 5 a.m. my time, which was 4 a.m. your time. Our friend Mayhem Miracles is live. If you guys are trying to grow your channel, if you're looking for an audience, you want to make some friends, Mayhem and Miracles, Maja, she's the place to go. I've made a number of really good friends there. Barb says, yeah, yesterday was horrible. Yeah, you ended up in the emergency room. Barb says, third day after surgery is always the worst. Huh. Wonder why that is. So we're just going to take a low-key approach, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, see who shows up. I see our friend Laradox shared Flower's channel yesterday. Can we get 8 more subs? How did that work out? We got you 1, 7 more to go. Well, I turn my head for a second and all kinds of things happen. Caleb, who is here, says, hi, Yogi. Kayla, how are you, my friend? Says, what's up? Hope you're well. I am doing well. Pretty good day so far. Guys, when you see me this time in the afternoon, my first live stream, man, my day is getting close to being over, believe it or not. This is approaching early evening in the life of me. This is Kayla's link for her channel. If you guys are not subscribed, definitely do so. Kayla, one of my all-time favorite gamers, one of my all-time favorite gamer channels. Not to mention, just an all-time favorite person. Barb says, yep, so my eye, the anesthesia has an effect on the body. Yeah, it takes a whole lot out of you. Flower says, hey, Kayla, I remember how my father would take him a couple days just to recover from the anesthesia. Sometimes he recovered from the actual issue faster than he did the anesthesia. When I had skin cancer on my neck and they removed it, and they said, I had to do all the procedures for anesthesia. And at the last minute, they said, hey, it might be disconcerting that you might feel some tugging, and it might hurt when the anesthesia starts to wear off, and we'll have to shoot you up again. Not the anesthesia, numbing. But we can do it without anesthesia, and I jumped at the chance. I did not want to be put under. Flower says, I'm downloading Roblox. How do you pronounce it? I have no idea what that is. I know it's a game. I see it all the time, but I don't know what it actually is. What kind of game is it? Barb says, I cannot go to bed that early. Yeah, I'm trying to go to bed by 7-ish. But remember, I'm up at 2:30 in the morning. Sometimes earlier. Sometimes as early as 2. Yep, Barb says, but you get up early. Yep. Pauline is here. Pauline says, hello, hello. Hello, my friend. How are you? We got an emoji from Kayla. Our friend Wolf is here. Wolf says hi to Yogi, Flower, Kayla, and Pauline. Barb says she has a lot of burning from the radiation right now, and the body is strange, and each person is different. This is true. Our friend Eric Lapointe is here. He says hi to Kayla, and Flower, Wolf, Barb, and me. Roblox. Man, what would I do without my friend Flower? Flower has helped me navigate the life of the younger generation. Not that I'm the older generation. Guys, remember, I'm just Generation X. Still young, still vital, still hip. I'm still happening. I'm still pretty cool. You can take my word for it. Of course, no one believes it. I can keep saying it over and over again. I can tell each and every one of you how cool I am. None of you are going to believe it. Charlie and Harley says, hey, Isabella here. Isabella, how are you? Appreciate you coming in, Isabella. Appreciate all you guys being here. What do you want to talk about? What do any of you guys want to talk about? Flower can explain exactly. Flower Caleb Bill can actually explain what is Roblox. Again, I know it's a game. What do you do? What is the object of the game? Do I take something over? Do I conquer something? Is it a quest? Do I get something magical? Roblox. That's what I said, right? I said Roblox. Barb says, hi and hugs to Eric LaPointe. I always thought Isabella was an amazingly pretty name. So my last few mornings have been spent with green herons. Green herons are different than blue herons. Most people have seen a blue heron, probably. Amazing birds that they look both ungainly and graceful at the same time. If you see them fly, especially if you see them fly in the woods, you think, how are they ever going to be able to fly? They're actually amazing flyers, though. So are geese. Geese can actually fly up to 1,000 miles in a day, if I'm not mistaken in that. Should Google that. Don't want to be on record for something that I've misspoken about. Green herons are smaller. They're smaller than a blue heron, and they're compact. They're like this big, and then they stand on their legs, and they're this big. Sorry. And then they extend their neck, and they're this big. And it's amazing to see. Seems to me how many miles a goose can fly in a day is something that Eric LaPointe would know, and also something that Wolf would know. So, any guesses before I give away the answer? Also, geese can live 20. Some individuals may even make it into their mid-40s. It's amazing. Man, I can't learn enough about animals. There is a wild female Laysan albatross who is over 200 years old. I mean, we always think of, and imagine that it's a wild bird, it's banded. Imagine that. Let me catch up here, guys. I'm babbling on about birds, geese in particular, albatross. I could have an entire live stream just talking about animals, to be honest with you. Do you guys have a favorite bird? We had a long conversation once. Dr. Destiny was here, Barb was here, Wolf was here. We talked about spirit animals. I love that conversation. Both, actually, Destiny has great information, and Barb and Wolf both had great information. Barb is heading to the hospital for medical records. We'll be back when we can. Hugs and blessings to one and all. Doctors told me that I must carry them with me at all times. Love to you, my friend. Our friend Mirmed says, hey, Sir Yogi, and all beautiful people here. Hello, my friend Mir. How are you? Barb says I got 1 inch of rain this morning. Also now feeding all the birds 3 buckets a day. Wow, that is a lot. Kayla is lurking. I appreciate you lurking. Sketcha says, Sketcha. Am I saying that right? Stetch. Sorry, I wasn't saying it right. But I figured it out. Hey, I figured it out completely on my own. Stetcher says, say, man, you should read the chapter about the albatross from Moby Dick. Man, I have a copy of Moby Dick. I probably read it 2, maybe 3 times. The last time I read it was well over 20 years ago, probably early 2000s. But it's come up in conversation. I love quoting from Moby Dick. I love Herman Melville. I need to. You're absolutely right. I need to reread it. And maybe I'll just pull it out and I'll read the chapter on the albatross. Thank you for that, Stretcher. Wolf says, well, speaking of flying, I guess we're going. I appreciate you stopping in, Wolf. Drive safely. So no guesses on how far a goose can fly in a single day. Again, it seems to me that's something that Eric LaPointe might know, like right off the top of his head. I have deep, deep appreciation for the knowledge of a lumberjack in Connecticut. I guess technically, he's not a lumberjack, right? Technically, he's a well, not even lumber. He is a tree grower for a specific purpose. However, even the short-lived life of a Christmas tree, I guess not that short-lived when you consider it. How old are the trees when they're harvested, Eric LaPointe? From first sprout until they actually are harvested, they do a great, good deal for the environment, as every tree does. So you consider how many trees Eric said he's planted. All of those trees are working to support the environment. And they're not, of course, all harvested at once because you always have something growing. 10 to 12 years, says Eric, and that's a good span. It's a good span of great environmental productivity. Hey, do you grow different types of evergreen trees? I know there are different types. I don't know all of them. But is there just one traditional Christmas tree, or do you have options? So, since no one is going to volunteer the information for the goose flying, 1,500 miles in a day. Of course, that's not a single goose. They're flying in the flock, which means they're in a flight formation. Although I imagine, I've read somewhere, that an individual can actually fly up to 1,000. That's if the weather permits. It says, although geese tend to fly around 40 miles per hour, they can increase up to 70 miles per hour if they catch a strong tailwind. Imagine that, man, a goose flying. Because again, they don't look like the most flight efficient birds. Blue jays seem to be, they look like a flight efficient bird. Of course, hawks too. They catch a tailwind, but they know how to fly efficiently. Eric Point says, yes, we have 10 different types here. Wow. I'm going to drop the link for Eric LaPointe, who, by the way, is at 1.22K. Our friend Horror of Spice, Vincent, is here. Vincent, how are you? Mir says, Sir Yogi, today a new friend, Hawk, is also damaged by a cat. Now my job is tough, man. I wouldn't think that a hawk could be damaged by a cat. One, I'm sorry to hear that. Two, I have no doubt that you're going to be able to fix that hawk up. I hope the cat is okay too. I know, kind of paradoxical, but I always thought, it would be the cat that would come out on the losing end. Vincent says, doing well, Eric. Glad to hear that. How's Mrs. Horror of Spice? And how's PT going? Let's see. Our friend MF Dredson is here. It says, "What's up, fam? Greetings all." Dredson, how are you, my friend? Our friend Kathy is here. See Peyton. Kathy, speaking of, I was talking to Vincent about, or I asked him how he was doing with his physical therapy. How's your knee doing? Our friend MF Dredson is now at 95 subscribers. And here's his link. At least if you're on desktop, here's his link. If you have a wrench, if you're a moderator, you can click on his link yourself. If you're not subscribed to Dredson, definitely do so. For lots of reasons. He's a good guy. He's a good friend to the channel, good friend to me, always drops in and has a positive message, and he puts in hard quality work. Mir says, today, Burpee Reaper. What do you think? Can we hit the 1K mark? Vincent says, let me get up here. Kathy says, hi, Eric. Mir says, now I have to start medicine and food also. Vincent says, Mrs. is going to neurologist and chiropractor today. Wishing her well. Let her know that I'm thinking about her and I asked about her. Make sure you support, I'll get that word out right. Our friend Mir, who does nothing but support all of us. And he puts out really beautiful. Let's see. M says you have a rear ear. A rear ear. Probably wouldn't be a bad place to have one. I don't. But now that I consider it, I'm thinking maybe, we weren't as biologically as efficient as I thought we were all this time. An extra ear on the back of the head, letting you know if people are sneaking up on you. Maybe an eye over top of it. If I had designed the body, it would be greatly, greatly more efficient. My knees wouldn't wear out. My shoulders would be sturdy. But it would probably be pretty odd looking. Mir is diving in. Kathy says my knee feels a lot better. Awesome. You doing anything particular? Dredson says he's feeling finer than a frog hair. That's pretty fine. How are you? Man, I can't top that, Dredson. But I'm doing pretty well. Dredson says, hope all are thriving. Having a pretty good day. M says, if you start bodybuilding, you should get a good physique. I used to bodybuild. I came, at least twice in my life, I came very close to attempting to compete. Once in my teens, I was going to compete in Mr. Baltimore and Mr. Annapolis, and I totally chickened out. For one, man, I didn't really want to diet. I just wanted to get big. For two, I did not want to get on stage in posing trunks. And then again, I thought about it in my late 20s. I've considered, as a veteran master in my 60s, but I don't know. I think I don't see the logic of adding size at age 59. That means I just got extra weight to carry around to do the other stuff that I love, which would be ultra running, ultra walking, high rep body weight stuff. Um, but you never know what life holds. Mir says, I just checked, sir. Eric Point says, I had to go back and listen when you said how far geese fly. In a day, I once heard 1,500. I just Googled it, and it's 1,500. Absolutely amazing. And man, just considering, the natural technology of a goose that allows them to fly anywhere from 40 to 70 miles an hour and nonstop in a day, 1,500 miles. Dredson says, Jacob I think he did did he say 502 counts? Did some serious numbers earlier. I didn't even know the final count. I think. I could be mistaken. Dredson says, Eric Point, yeah, he was 350 when I last saw. Mir says, so Yogi, today we give Burpee Reaper only 975. That works. William is here. William, my friend, says, hello, Yogi and channel. How are you, William? Hey, William, did you know that a goose can fly 1,500 miles in a single day? Kathy says, did you see my short and post? The woman that runs the conjoining house is disgraceful. She is screwing employees over. I haven't seen that, but I'm going to bring your channel up right now. I see to my paranormal friends. So I will have that up. Make sure you guys are subscribed to C. Peyton, our friend Kathy. William says, hello, Mir. I'm hanging in there trying to find drive. Mir says, hey, C. Peyton. Let's see. William says, how you doing today? I'm doing well. Doing really well. And I hope everyone is too. Man, I started talking about geese because I was talking about green herons. One thing led to another. Eric Point says, that's so funny you brought up that about geese. I was talking about that literally yesterday with my boss. All he said was, a goose can fly 1,500 miles in a day. What are the odds? The odds are probably pretty astronomical when you think about it. However, synchronistically speaking, quantum physically speaking, and non-locality, I guess that would be the same as quantum physics speaking. The odds are not so great because, these synchronistic events signifying as well as demonstrating that there is just one mind. So you have these little synchronicities, meaningful coincidences. Of course, we provide the meaning. But the fact that this came up yesterday and today, it's just a perfect demonstration how the connectiveness of all of us. We've all had events like that. You think of someone you haven't thought about in a long time, and the next day you get a phone call or a letter, or someone mentions her, or you run into them, him, her, in an airport. In yoga terms, it's the field, that there is the knower and the field, but in the end, the knower and field are inseparable. So, infinite field of potential, which means that we can tap into any thought at any time, anywhere. Pretty amazing to consider. Reaper is at 963. The goal for today is 975. Eric Lapointe, how are your burpees coming along? No issues. Shoulders holding up, elbows holding up. I know Jacob was a little worried about his elbow. Our friend Leo Said So is doing a really smart thing. He's taken a week easy for him. No less than, I think he said 150 two pumps. But for him, it's definitely easy. Our friend Dottie is here. Dottie says, hi, everyone. Hope you're well. Thank you, Dottie. How are you? Let's do a quick visit here to Dottie. Have you guys been following the updates with Dottie? She's at 223 subscribers. The medical van is now really starting to take shape. You see it. You see it becoming something. You see it every update. You see it becoming livable conditions. Dropping the link for our friend Dottie. Those are the transformations I love seeing. Next point says they are going slow because of trimming season, but I'm getting them done. Yes, I'm taking it easy. Also, no less than 52 pumps for me. That's a good number. I was going to ask you if you had a minimum number that you wanted to hit each day. 52 pumps, because 50 of any kind of burpees is a great workout. It's good cardio, and that means you're getting no less than 100 push-ups a day, which is awesome in anyone's count. Dottie says, hey to Kathy, Mir, Eric LP. Let's see. William says, hey, Yogi, did you listen to that artist I linked? I have not listened yet, but I have, I've subscribed and I have notification for everything. So when he'll post something, I'll definitely see it. Hey, William, what was the name? So I make sure that it doesn't get lost in other subscribers, because I do subscribe to some other musical channels. So to make sure that that one stands out. But make sure that that one stands out as the one that you're supporting. Dottie says, hoping it will be finished by the end of August now, Eric. I heard you mention that. And it really looks like it's going to be. So with that said, finished in August. When do you head out? When's your trip? Are you going to do like a mini trip beforehand just to break it in, a weekend trip? Eric says, hey, Dottie. Our friend Odom is here. Odom says, hello. Odom, how are you? How are the grapes? I know last time you said you had harvested some, putting them in the freezer. Daddy says, love your lives, Eric LP. He does masterful lives. You expect to hear wisdom from a man on a tractor. How could you not? William says, I tried for the first time in a while. I only made like 25 push-ups, did crunches, sit-ups, and a few other, but definitely not a very physical day. Hey, you got something done. That's the important thing. Don't push to failure. Don't see how many you can get right off the bat. Do a comfortable number and do it daily, or at least 6 days a week. I'm definitely a daily person. I'm going to run downstairs. I got a delivery coming. And I don't want it to sit out. Don't think there's anything that I need to worry about, but let's see, area alone, but the channel's name I believe is Infinity. I will be on the lookout for that. And if something doesn't pop up today, then I'll make sure to make a special trip there. Odom says, just still waiting on the blue Concord. Hey, do you have a favorite grape, Odom? Does anyone have a favorite grape? William says it'll probably be a weekend visit to start building out a plan, so I am not winging it full stop. Let's see, did I miss something? Eric says, thanks, Daddy, for coming. Daddy says, a couple weekend trips in September, then off to the Northeast, Northumberland, end of October. Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing all of that. Eric Point says, good job. William, definitely good job. William says, I heard that auto worker unions secured a massive contract, so I may try that route for work instead of trying to be a cultivator, agro. Yeah, that would be good. That would be what, a union job, right? Daddy says to Eric LP, I will look out for your next live. Odom's favorite grape is Celeste. Celeste? William says like green Silo sound is mine as well, because those are the grapes I've really tried. I like more sour or tart. I'd like to find unripe blueberries. I'm definitely head towards the sweet side myself. William says, oh, it was Dottie. My bad. Thought there was a question about me stopping through Ohio in August. No problem at all. But even though that wasn't the question, I appreciate the answer. Laradox says he just got finished editing a movie. Awesome. It's going to be on your channel. You don't have to believe me. Oh, I don't disbelieve you. See no reason why you would lie. Laradox says it's a homemade one I made. Awesome. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to go bring in my order. Sorry, guys. I apologize for that. Let me catch up here what we missed. Our friend Poor Man is here. Says howdy, folks. Autumn says try the pink lemonade, blueberries, William Hart. I haven't heard of this. Narodak says yoga, even though I don't believe in Taoism, I do respect it. I know that it does present a positive and powerful message. It really isn't something to believe or disbelieve. It simply is. That's why it's called, the Tao simply means the way. It's the fabric of existence. To say I don't believe in the Tao means we don't believe in existence. We don't believe in nature. The Tao is the sun coming up in the east and setting in the west. It is the intention that is present within a seed. It is that which urges a tree to grow. Let's see. William says, I've never heard that before. Neither have I, William. Thank you for suggesting that. My curiosity is piqued. Man, Odom knows his he knows his produce. He knows his garden stuff. So if he recommends it, you know it's going to be good. Nodoc says, Yogi, I wonder if time travel exists. I don't know if it does. Well, of course it does in a way, in one direction. I have definitely traveled to the age of 59, for better or for worse. Some body parts for better, some body parts for worse. I think my hair would definitely say for the worse. I think my left knee would say probably for the worse. Everything that hurts on me is on my left side. Left knee, left shoulder, left side of my back. Probably something that could be fixed by a chiropractor, but then I'd have to go to a chiropractor. Quantum physics says that science, time travel is most certainly a probability. It can occur. There's absolutely no reason why it can't. And then if we think of ourselves as essence, as being immaterial, then there's no reason why we can't. If we're just energy, does energy have a direction? Nodoc says maybe angels time travel. Who knows? There's a good book by Laszlo. It's his last name. Can't remember his first name. He's a physicist, and he wrote along with Rupert Sheldrake, who wrote quite extensively. He's a biologist, I believe. The morphogenic field, which is the energetic field of the structure, energetic field of energy. It's what allows a dog to know when their owners are coming home. All the information travels in that. He also wrote about the Akashic records, which is a yogic term. Anyway, he wrote a book on the physics of angels. It's really good. Eric Point says, I want to try those Odom. I saw that you had them. And Odom says, Nagomi kumquats are also sweet. Sweet sour, my favorite. Interesting. Man, there's so much. This is why when people say, you know, for me, my diet is pretty the same. Not even pretty the same. My diet is the same. But, you know, I've heard people say to other vegans, man, don't you get tired of just eating plants? Just think of all the plants if Odom wanted to name them off the top of his head. Think about how many types of meat that you eat. Generally speaking, it's 3. Although, you know, if you hunt or you fish or whatever, you might get more. But generally speaking, the average, I'd say the average person in Western civilization eats pork, beef, chicken, poultry. And of course, there's infinite ways of cooking it to make it taste differently. But then think about the natural bounty of plants and how much they offer. Eric Point says, hey to Poor Man. Poor Man says, sup, Eric? Our friend Goldie's here. Says hi there, lovely people. Hi there, lovely Goldie. Goldie has 17 minutes to go. How did, speaking of to go, how did things go, Goldie? Odom says, yes, they're delicious. Tastes like lemonade, too. It's amazing. These were blueberries, right? A blueberry can taste like lemonade. We got a smile emoji from Laradox. Actually, Laradox, if you explore Taoism, you would find it's entirely compatible with the teachings of Jesus. Especially when you consider, where did Jesus go for solace, to seek wisdom, to decompress, to communicate with his Father? He went out in nature, went into the desert. Laradox says he's subscribed to your channel. Poor man. Poor man says we'll do the same. Awesome, guys. Odom says I have a lot of figs coming soon. Looking forward to seeing those. I have a long fascination with figs, and I've been talking about it probably for a year with Odom, and so I haven't seen fig cuttings before. Well, one on one other channel, but I'm looking forward to seeing Odom, because he always gives so much information when he's doing it. He doesn't just do it. Talks about it, and he'll describe why he's doing it. If we're lucky, he will break out in a song of praise for what God is bringing. And you got to love when that happens, when someone just appreciates what God's gifts are so strongly that they just spontaneously can't help themselves break out in song. William says, I never had a real fig, just the Newtons or the natural bake bar. Here's the funny thing. I don't like fig stuff. I don't like fig Newtons. I don't like the fig nature bars. I like figs, though. Although my favorite, I like dates. Poor man says, Laradox, sorry, spell check. Understandable. Odom says, Newtons tastes nothing like fresh figs. And Reaper is at 967. Roy says also, it is said God is unbound by time. Well, God would have to be unbound by time, because God is the essence of all, the fabric of reality, the fabric of existence. Time is simply of the mind. When you step out of the mind, when you step out into beingness itself, then time is non existent. This is why when Ram Dass wrote in 1971 the great yogic classic Be Here Now, the sequel should have been, because there's nowhere else you can be. Time itself is an illusion. As Albert Einstein said, his exact quote is, time is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Meaning that the mind registers time, but time itself stands apart from the mind. Kathy says, I followed you too, poor man. Nice. Cody says, my daughter is quite disappointed with her achievement, but the official results come out on the 26th, so that'll be Thursday. 3 more days. Right? Today's the 23rd, Friday. Why is she disappointed? Foreman says, thanks to C. Payton, we'll do the same. Dottie says, to MF Dreadson, done. Nice. Our friend Kay is here. Kay, how's your garden coming? What's new in Kay Renee's garden? We were talking figs, we've been talking grapes, we've been talking blueberries. Kay says, working and listening, and my friend, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. So you might not be able to do any garden talk, Understandable. Poor man says, tried studying relativity. Still hard to comprehend, but the time travel theory is traveling faster than light to witness an event before it actually occurs. Oddly enough, um, faster than light is consciousness itself, because time doesn't exist. Time exists as a concept within consciousness. So everything is happening at once. This is why Einstein said time is an illusion. I agree with you. I've read on relativity, I've read quite a bit. And remember, quantum physics actually takes things a step farther than relativity, which is why Einstein didn't like it at all. He hated the observer effect, refusing to believe that the moon would cease to exist if he wasn't there to witness it. Um, although quantum physics, in its depth, says everything is interdependent upon the observer, which is also what Nagarjuna, the great Buddhist master, some say second only to the Buddha himself, he put out a theory of relativity 3,000, 2,000 years before Einstein. Beautiful teachings, wonderful teachings. But as far as studying quantum physics and studying relativity, I've read tons of books, 3 or 4 over the course of a year usually. I understand none of it. When I'm reading it, I think, okay, and I put the book down, nothing. But when I'm reading it, it makes sense. Does that make sense? How you can somehow know something that you don't fully understand. Everyone says hi to K. William says, I wanted to say it is a personal relational measurement. It is an illusory concept reviewed for the sake of definition, but it is lackluster of what it encompasses. But I have no study agree of, however, or of authority. However, you said that wonderfully. Spoken like a mystic, William Hart. Spoken like someone who has been meditating on the nature of self for decades. Like the point says, I'm due for a garden life myself. It would be awesome. Be awesome to see you off the tractor. Nothing wrong with being on the tractor, but just getting a tour of the garden. Like the point says that makes sense. Okay, says hey to everyone. I had to send a quick message to someone. To Mocha, actually. Oddly enough, I've learned quite a bit about quantum physics from my meditation teacher and who taught me how to teach meditation, which is Deepak Chopra. And of course, a lot of quantum physics don't like his interpretation because he puts consciousness first, which they disagree with, which is odd because the original quantum physicist said everything is derivative of consciousness itself. Schrodinger, I think, said you can't get behind consciousness. Whatever theory that you put out, consciousness is that persistent underlying reality of it all. Where it says, although the nut butters turned out pretty well. Oh yeah, you sent something back, right? Your pistachio. Dredson says, Odom Swim said, greetings. Do you all have any chickens? That's a good question. I'm not sure if I've heard chickens on his homestead. Odom says we've been getting a lot of rain here. We haven't been. We could definitely use more. Roy says really sad that he didn't get the pistachio. Actually kind of disheartened still. But all I have is time to waste. So why not? Good way of looking at it. Dredson says the all is mental. The Kybalion or something. I'm slightly familiar with the Kybalion. The all is mental definitely sounds. The all is mental is the presiding principle of every esoteric or mystical tradition. This is why Meister Eckhart said the eye in which I see God is the same eye in which God sees me. And of course, he was imprisoned for that statement. Fortunately, he wasn't burned at the stake. Some of his companions were. It's the mystics you see. It's the mystics who lead the way. They lead the way through their heart. Odom says, hello to MF Dreadson. No, was trying to get a coop build, but work in life. Maybe next year. Well, you know, chickens aren't seasonal. Eric Lapointe says, yeah, being rained on right now. Hey, how does that affect your work, Eric Lapointe? Dredson says, we had some for a while and loved caring for them. Hopefully you can get some. They help the garden in a lot of ways. Man, and they are so smart. Supposedly they have the emotional intelligence of a 2-year-old child. They are awesome, awesome animals, companions, very loving, affectionate. I had a friend who moved to York, Pennsylvania. He was going to raise chickens. He was going to, raise them, eventually eat them, and he ended up not being able to. Hasn't become a vegan, but he's definitely a vegetarian now. Leo says, let's go, baby. Much love, Yogi. We were talking about you beginning of the conversation. Leo says, hope you are doing great, brother. I am. Thank you. 2 Pump Tuesday. Kathy says, hello to Leo and MF. Dredson says to Leo Sitzo is pushing some nasal breathing burpees today. Awesome. Did you catch him on video? Dredson waves to see Peyton. Poor man salutes Leo. Our friend Ahmed says that Reaper is at 969. So we're shooting for 6 more for today. Odom says, yes, I do, but we have a friend that brings us fresh eggs and chicken poop. With friends like that, you gotta appreciate them. I'm not sure if I have a single friend that would bring me chicken poop. Maybe if I asked. Eric Point says, rain or shine, there's always something to do. Hey, so you work, generally speaking, 6 days a week, and you've mentioned before 10 hours a day. After Christmas season, do your hours, are they less? And then it builds up again through the year? Eric Point says, Leo the Sledgehammer. It says, hell and laughs, you already knowing. How'd you like those nasal breathing, Dredson? Changes the nature of the movement. which a lot of people don't like. Leo says, I'm going to check you out. To MF Judson, great work, man. Leo says, nasal breathing will open your game for sure. It definitely does. Hey, Leo, here's a question for you. Do you feel a difference? Two questions. When you came back from Reno with a difference in elevation, did you feel a difference in your training? They always say train at altitude, perform at low altitude. And do you notice a difference when you switch from nasal breathing to regular breathing? Should almost feel like you have a nitrous tank that you can kick in at any time. Judson says we used large flake shavings inside the coop, so whenever we cleaned out, I took some to sister. Odom says we give them fresh fruits and vegetables. That's a nice exchange. That's the way to do it. Eric Point says yes, they are much less, especially in February. It's nice that you have that downtime. Cases low to Poor Man and MF Judson, and to Leo. Poor Man says following Reaper and Leo will up your game. Definitely. Give me a second here, guys. I got a couple messages I wanted to check. Mir says, hello to Leo Buddy. How are you? Leo says, thank you, brother Poor Man. And Angel is here. Angel gives me a really nice smiley face. It is a smiley face of someone who might have passed away while smiling. But in my interpretation, in my magical thinking, it is a smiley face nonetheless. And I appreciate that. Let's see, Burpee Reaper is at 970. We're climbing higher. William Hart says it's a skinless smile. Exactly. Thank you for clarifying that, William. I gave a little finishing burpee talk the other day on trolls and tricksters and the essential role that they play. The relationship that we can have with all of them if we want. And it's actually a positive that everyone is bringing you something. Everyone is bringing you something that allows you to make a choice. Do I wish to be kind, compassionate, caring? Or do I want to be reactive? Do I want to be responsive? Do I want to be reactive? When I respond, I'm always thoughtful. When I react, I'm always thoughtless because it's that lashing out straight from the ego. Do I want to respond from spirit, which is always calm, which is always abiding, which is always compassionate, which is always patient, which is always loving? If I react, and remember, reaction is not a bad thing. It's what kept us alive. It helped us avoid the heavy footstep of a mastodon and the sharp teeth of a saber-tooth. But in this day and age, we still need to be reactive, but not for every little thing that happens to us. We don't need to be reactive. We don't need to dodge a mastodon in the appearance, in the guise of someone on the internet who says or does something that we might not like. But because of conditioning, we get caught up in that. And we get caught up so easy. Eric Point says, I'm a mod on a Trolls page. Who is that? Who are you a mod for? Odom says, have a blessed rest of the day, everyone. You too, Odom. Thanks for spending some time with us. William says, you too, Odom. Thank you for the stopping in and sharing. I appreciate the information and advice. Poor man says, just an observation, but I doubt that people trolling on a burpee community isn't actually putting the work in. Could be. Probably more than likely. For me, though, again, it just gives me that opportunity. It's a practice. Same as meditation. When you have a thought during meditation, you don't react to the thought, at least not after you've been meditating for a while. Because if you did, you would never be meditating. You just notice a thought and you go back to the mantra or you go back to the breath. Everything is an opportunity, guys. Maybe not the one that we want, but it's definitely the one that we have. We don't get to pick and choose. I don't get to pick who comes in. I do my best not to choose who goes away. That meaning that I really, really dislike banning people. A few people have been, but that's only when they've attacked friends. And it wasn't even, they weren't even attacking. We've seen some really awesome trolls come in here. Clever, funny, insightful, and if you engage, a lot of them end up staying. Our friend Mr. Poopinator came in initially as a troll and has become a great, great friend. As a matter of fact, he's a Facebook friend. I always look forward to talking with him. 971. The goal is 975 for our friend Burpee Reaper. Goldie says she didn't pay enough attention to the requirements, so she didn't draw the archives around the main structure. You think that's from nerves, probably? Eric Point says his name is Bam Bam. He has some problems and lashes out, but I am going to slowly push him into the right direction. Awesome. Eric LaPointe can do it. When I first met Eric LaPointe, the name of the channel was Just a Man Doing Burpees in His Basement. Just a man who doesn't care about anyone else except, or anything else except for doing burpees in his basement. Eventually, I became just a yogi doing burpees in his basement. That's the rule of breath work. Breath work changes the central nervous system to allow us to be responsive. So if you notice when you react, if you have the presence of mind, notice how you're breathing. And then in an instant, you can change your breath pattern and you become responsive. If you are lashing out at a loved one and you have an instant, notice how you're breathing. Notice your posture. Notice your physiology. How am I standing? What am I clenching? Something's definitely clenched. Unclench it. Breathe into it. Relax. Everything changes. If you're in, someone cuts you off in traffic and you're about to respond, or even after you respond, and that anger is seething through you, man, don't they know I'm in a hurry? How could they do that to me? I hate people like that. Notice how you're breathing. Change it. Because the event is over. Why punish yourself for an event that was beyond your control, that is over? And yet that kind of stuff sticks with us, sometimes for a day, sometimes longer. But it can all be changed. The greatest forgiveness is how you breathe. Because it changes everything and you realize, well, that's done. That's over. How can I still be mad about something that no longer even exists? Let's see. Goldie says, yes. Yeah, that happens to all of us, Goldie. I hope she, understands that sometimes nerves just get the better of us. William says, trolling, not trolling. It is energy invested. People invest less in what they don't care about. This is true. I welcome all interactions on one hand, if not me, another, but maybe I'm the obstacle they need. Well, just as I said, everyone's an opportunity for us. We are an opportunity for everyone as well. This is my practice to, I mentioned this earlier. I actually mentioned this to Milka, the practice of unconditional love, which is also the practice of unconditional acceptance, which is also not even a practice. How do you practice what you are? How do you practice acceptance? When, if it's present, it's already accepted. We just don't like it. That's the difference. And like, dislike has nothing to do with acceptance. This is why the Buddha said, that's how we suffer. We're adding suffering into the mix. We could say, I don't like this, but it's here, but it's present. It makes it infinitely easier. And just because you acknowledge something as being present doesn't mean that you can't take the steps to make it better or to make it different. Leo said, much support and respect to those who try to better themselves. We'll always have love for those who take the challenge. If you want to talk the talk, then walk it as well. Nicely said, Leo. William says, for their growth, why limit that option from someone else? Absolutely. William says, being an idealist is easy, though. We will see when I'm tested. You don't even have to think of it as a test. It's a practice. And a practice can't be wrong. How do you feel a practice? 973. 2 more to go, guys. 2 more to go, and the Burpee Reaper is at 975 subscribers. Leo said, burpees will make your mind strong as well as your body. When you put your body through the discomfort and pain willingly, to accept others will never be able to bother you. Others will never be able to bother you. Accept yourself first. Again, nicely said. Our friend Matthew is here. Matthew says, greeting friends, grand risings. Good morning. Some people have difficulty with the accepting yourself. Some people have difficulties with the accepting others. In the end, don't even make distinctions. This is why I mention it often, Ramana Maharshi, when he was asked, how do you treat others? And he said, there are no others. There's an extension of the one mind. There's an extension of the one heart. There's an extension of one love. This is also why Rumi wrote that beautiful poem, The Guest House. He welcomed everything in life as a guest, because we don't know what we are being prepared for. He likened it to a great wind sweeping through our living room, wiping everything out. But who knows what it's going to bring? Who knows what it's emptying things for? Jacob's here, and Jacob goes right into work, and he starts dropping some links. Thank you, Jacob. Jacob, how's your elbow feeling? Did you ice it up? Eric says, hey to Matthew. Matthew says, hey, Eric, did you happen to get my email? I have not. Let me check real quick. I have it up. I don't see it. I'm going to check spam real quick. As you never know. It's in my spam. And now it isn't. Now it's up, and I'm going to read it after the live stream. Thank you. Appreciate the email, and appreciate you calling it to my attention. Otherwise, it would have sat in the spam indefinitely. see. Give me a second here. William says, hello, LaPointe. How are you doing? And we're getting a bunch of highs, and we're getting some links dropped from our friend Jacob. Thank you so much, Jacob. Matthew says, spam, what the heck? Yeah, I don't know how that works. I'm just glad that you brought it to my attention so I could check. It never would have occurred to me to check in spam. Let's see. Mir says, how much you want, Sir Yogi? Hey, did we make it to 975? If you make it to 975, Mir, that's a good day's worth of work. Me put in so much effort for so many people. Jacob drops a link for our friend Dredson. And he drops a link for Odom. 974. We got one more to go. And there's a link for our good friend Mir. Give me a second, guys. Hey, Mir, how do your cats get along with the hawks? Are they ever actually in the same vicinity of each other? Been meaning to ask you that. He might be busy getting those subscribers. Let's see. William says, sorry, keep leaving the check responses on a video. Hey, William, when are you going to do your live stream that you thought you were going to be able to do, or you were thinking about doing? Kathy says, I have to take my dogs out. I will talk to you later. Kathy, thank you for spending some time with us. I'm glad your knee's feeling better. I still have you up. I'm going to check out your video right after the live stream. Let's see. Matthew says, Eric, just out of curiosity, what is your sun sign? I am Aries. Give me 1 second. One second, guys. There we go. Let me catch up. Where it says share a bit of the dogs, that would be awesome. Love seeing people's dogs. Some of my favorite videos, Optimob and Bax, our friend Jace. Where it says, Yogi, what kind of coffee do you like? I've been drinking, I don't know if Sprouts is, it's a market, kind of like Trader Joe's, if you guys have a Trader Joe's. I used to like Trader Joe's coffee, but they stopped making it. I do Sprouts organic instant coffee. I've grown to really like instant coffee. One, I like the simplicity of it. And I love the sound of a tea kettle when the water boils. It's a reminder when my water boils, my standing session of yoga is finished, and I turn the water off, and I move into my lying asanas, lying postures. Mir says, burpee, 975. Well done. Well done, Mir. Man, you certainly worked hard for our friend. Do we have a link dropped above for, there it is. God above all. That is our friend, the Burpee Reaper. It is what it is. The champ, Mr. 5 Pump. And he's at 975. Mir, thank you. Jacob, my friend, don't forget to drop your link. William says, I was immediately just going to stream games, but I'm struggling to be motivated to play a game. I already am in one where I'm not accomplishing anything yet. That, and it highlights my experiences. Well, whatever you do, you have my support. If your live streams are gaming, I'll support you. Of course, my preference for what it matters, and it doesn't matter. I'd love to just hear you talk about your experiences, about what you want to do, about how you're going to do it, all that stuff. Mir says, today done, sir. And well done. Again, thank you so much. Excuse me, guys. Matthew says, Aries, excellent. The phrase for Aries is I am, which, as you know from your studies in the affirmation of divine being and awareness, is also the very name of the prime cause itself. Have you ever read Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That? It's a seminal classic. No one, maybe with the exception of Ramana Maharshi, sums it up better than I am, the primordial existence. You have the absolute, and from the absolute comes the I am, and from I am, everything comes into existence. I am is existence itself. It precedes and is everything that is. Think about everything we say. How are you? I am fine, I am short, I am tall, I am well, I am white, I am black, I am, I am, I am. I am something. And you're always naming something. You're always naming an object or a description or a label. But the I am stands alone. In the Psalms, be still and know that I am. In the beginning, I am. Every tradition, I am. The actual sound, the natural sound of the breath, aham, aham. The mantra of the breath, along with hum sao, so hum. If everything was quiet and your breath got very, very still, you would hear that natural sound as you breathe in, so hum. Until there's just a hush, a sacred pause. Where it says, from which is just time wasted streaming, really nothing, and want to deliver something different. Yeah, like I said, I'd love just to hear you talk. We got some more links dropped from Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. Here's what I love about Jacob. One of the many things I love about Jacob. Do you see some of the links that I dropped? Chris Crable. Chris spent some time here yesterday, which is always awesome to see. But you don't have to be here in order to get a link drop. Jacob pulls up all the greats, all the people that we've connected with through the years, and he'll drop their link. Absolutely amazing. Eric Point says, great job, Ahmed. Jacob drops a link for Eric Point. Mir says, thank you, brother Eric. Matthew says, also the sound Om translates to I am, which is believed to be the primeval sound that ushered into being all the material creation and imbued spirit into all layers of existence. If you read some cosmology, modern cosmology. That I love all cosmology. I love the cosmology of traditions, Hindu and yogic cosmology, Buddhist cosmology, the Hopi and Navajo cosmology, Cherokee, all of it, explaining how things came into existence. However, science, the science of cosmology, has actually shown that there is a low-lying hum of the universe, which is something that every yogi and rishi and sage, shaman, has not just known, but has experienced themselves. If you get up at that hour of Brahma Muhurta, the sacred hour, about 90 minutes before dawn and about 40 minutes to an hour after dawn, and you just got very still, you would experience the great Om of existence. Let's see, we got some more awesome links dropped. Jacob gets a salute from our friend Eric Lapointe, a well-deserved salute. No one works harder for just people being recognized than our friend Jacob. Well, I don't want to say no one works harder. Mir and Jacob, those two guys, they come in and they change everything. Matthew says, the I am is the infinite observer, that which is ever spectating and moving and yet simultaneously never moving and never being. Lord Krishna says, never have I ever been born, nor have I ever died. Which also could be taken straight out of the Tao Te Ching, straight out of the Upanishads, any wisdom tradition, including Christianity, including the Kabbalah, mystical Hebrew, mystical Judaism. I got my copy of the Bhagavad Gita right here at my side. I'd have to go in the other room and I could get Shiva by my bedside, the Shiva Sutras. I also got the Tao here as well. And the Upanishads, the Zohar from the Hebrew tradition. Our friend Jace is here. Speaking of the Tao, I saw Jace on a live stream from a new friend, D.A. Douglas. D-A-L, also another way of spelling and pronouncing the Tao. And he gave a really great live stream. I didn't see him work out. I know he did some bodyweight stuff, but he gave a very nice talk. And Wolf is back, says Yogi, I have found the answer. What's the answer, Wolf? If anyone was going to find it, it was going to be Wolf. Jace says he's tired. Just finished painting. Were you painting like a wall, or painting as in artistically painting? Not that the two are mutually exclusive. Wolf says, by way of careful deduction, the egg came first. All right, I want to hear how it was done. How did we arrive to this conclusion? What was the deductive properties that led you to this? And how could the egg possibly come into existence without a chicken? And yet, how could a chicken come into existence without an egg? Tay Eats. Tay Eats is a unfamiliar channel for me. So, because it comes recommended from our friend Jacob, and Jacob would not steer any of us wrong, I am now a subscriber. Thank you for that, Jacob. And I will let them know when I comment on, hey, if you subscribe to someone new, make sure you like a video, watch it as long as it takes to get that watch in. Sometimes it's 30 seconds, sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's been a minute and 40, I think. And leave a comment and let them know that, you found it through Jacob, if you did. Matthew says, absolutely, Eric, all of the deepest esoteric traditions, every spiritual path acknowledge the same wisdom about the nature of our true identity as a single consciousness spectating various forms. To the very point where the observer and the observed become inseparable. And again, as Matthew was saying, in every edition, in every tradition. Jay says, a small bathroom with the worst pipework and hard to reach places. That could be a workout. It could be a yoga workout. Definitely got to stretch. Eric Point says, I just missed Jason's live this morning. I missed it too. Jay says, I have an answer, but you're going to have to be ready for it. I'm ready for it. Mir says, I miss regularly. It's time, Defiance brother. I try next time. Wolf says, chickens are the result of careful crossbreeding, and the results would be an egg of the first chicken. So what were crossbred, and how did they come into existence? Poor man says, Jace, what's going on with your plumbing? Hey, on the subject of stuff, on the subject of fixing stuff, poor man, how's your lawnmower doing? Any issues? Subscribing to some new friends. Thanks to Jacob. Much appreciated. Give me a second here, guys. So, I was talking about opportunities. Jacob's given us some nice opportunities to make some new connections. Whoops, I didn't say I had all the answers. Hey, but you got a working theory. That's a start. That's the start. I have no doubt, as you study this further, you are going to have that answer. Jay says, okay, are you ready for the answer? Creation took place for sure, but it's not how you perceive technology. Not how you perceive. Technology is the only answer. We were designed, explains everything, apart from the designer. Poor man says, got both mowers running now, needs something else to fix. So you're going to head over to Jace's and do some plumbing work? Man, you should visit my place. Everything needs to be fixed, including, as mentioned before, my left knee, left side of my back, and my left shoulder. Other than that, I'm doing pretty good. What was the old joke about President Lincoln? Is it too soon to tell a Lincoln joke? Other than that, how was the play, Mr. Lincoln? Something like that. William says, as you are sharing links, rather than follow me, please give consideration to following another person in my place. This is a musician that William was talking about. Infinity. Very nice of you, William. So, if you went by the cosmology offered by A Course in Miracles, which is very, very similar to the cosmology offered by yoga, is that creation itself never took place. There is no chicken, there is no egg. There was no need for an egg for a chicken to come into existence. There's no need for a chicken for an egg to come into existence. When in the Bible, in Genesis, it says that Adam fell into a deep sleep. There's no mention in the Bible whatsoever of Adam awakening. We are all in the deep slumber in the mind of God. It's all Maya, illusion, illusory. We are part of the dream, and yet we are also the dreamer. The ego is part of the dream. Spirit is part of the dreamer, the ultimate dreamer. So the dreamer himself within the dream will never awaken because he doesn't really exist. The ego doesn't truly exist. The ego is a thought pattern after thought pattern after thought pattern in the mind. How can a thought pattern awaken to itself? It can't. So our role, according to A Course in Miracles, is not to awaken from the dream, but to dream a happier dream. And then ultimately, we find ourselves still embraced in the arms of God. Very, very similar to yogic philosophy as well as cosmology. Maya, illusory. They also call it Lila, God's divine play. The weirdest actors in a play. Actors get very much into their role. We believe that we are this limited, small ego. We believe there's a chicken. We believe there's an egg. However, deep, deep down inside, we know we're playing a role and that we will awaken. That's where the Course differs. The Course says that the dreamer himself can't awaken. The dreamer within the dream, which we know from our own dreams. How often do you have a dream in which the dreamer says, I'm just a dream? All right, let me catch up. And then I'm actually going to have to call it an afternoon. That was a very selfless act from our friend William, saying, hey guys, I'd prefer it if you followed this friend of mine. Matthew says, Eric, what do you feel about self-sustaining communities? Do you believe that as we become more conscious of ourselves and our world and nature of our existence, that we should separate? Not at all. I'm not against it, not against communities. I've actually have considered various times in my life joining a monastery, joining an ashram. But I love how A Course in Miracles tells us, do not seek to change the world. You guys are probably tired to hear me say this. Seek to change the perception of the world. Seek to change your perception of the world. And then you realize we're not separate. The world changes as our vision changes, as we behold it. And that's how any kind of lasting change is going to take place. We realize our innate wholeness, that we can't be separate from each other. And that's the role of forgiveness, that we are forgiving the illusion of our separation. It was a great question, though, Matthew. We should separate ourselves from the current status quo and where our civilization is currently heading. The status quo and where we're currently heading is part of the illusion. Illusion doesn't mean not real. I mentioned before my desk. The desk is an illusion. If I took it apart, it would be things that could potentially be a desk. If I examined it under a atomic microscope, I would see that it is just cells, molecules, particles, and then emptiness. And yet, it's solid. I can put my coffee cup on it. I can bang my knee on the top. I can stub my toe on the leg. So illusory, but man, it hurts. The illusion can certainly hurt. But we can wake up from the illusion. Not us personally, not the ego, not us personality-wise, not the ego, but spirit-wise. Let's see. Poor man says, got a scooter project. I need to dust off. Been sitting a while. What's up with the scooter? Poor says, yes, Yogi. Thank you. Hey, so if you subscribe, make sure you mention that our friend William dropped the link. All kinds of good stuff from Jacob. He drops a link for Mayhem Miracles, for Medic. Absolutely awesome. Matthew says, our world is Maya, the dream of Brahma. Exactly. And I got to add, beautifully, beautifully stated. I love the description of Brahma for God, because we say God, and every concept of God we've ever been told, we've ever inherited, we've ever heard, comes into play. God is this, God is that. This is why in the Hebrew tradition, they say, simply say God is, and then stop. Because anything you say is just going to be a poor description of God. And then we live by those labels. We don't live by God. We don't live by Jesus. We live by what others have told us God and Jesus is. We live by the labels, by the concepts, by the thoughts. And that really lessens us quite a bit. This is why, the great mystical teaching of don't be a Christian, be Christ-like. Don't be a Buddhist, be Buddha-like. Imagine that. Imagine every single Christian living a life of Christ. Imagine every single Buddhist living a life of the Buddha. Jason's back. 975 subs for Lewis, 25 more for 1K. Absolutely. Murr's taking a break right now. Says, stay blessed. Goldie, best wishes from my side. Thank you for that. Goldie is finally heading home. Long day for Goldie. Jay says, excuse me, I have to go. See you, Lewis. Is he up and running? We're going to go in just a minute, too. I'm going to see if I can catch up. See if I've missed anything. William says, take care, Jace. Thanks for stopping in. Thank you, William. Matthew says, Eric, for some reason, a few years ago, my wife and I suddenly had the dream to build a conscious, self-sustaining community where families and children and the homeless could live free. Did you pursue that? That would be absolutely awesome. Cody says, my best wishes for you too, my friend Miramed. Cody says, hi there, Matthew. Jacob says, thank you, fan, for having me, part of your live stream. Once again, brother Mr. Yogi. Man, Jacob, thank you for dropping all those links. Made some new connections. I'm going to visit soon and make sure that I connect. Don't want to just subscribe. I want to connect. I want to know what people are doing, what they're up to. Matthew says, I believe that we could increase our development and our consciousness by also living in homes made of cobs of earth and material, and by building in spirals rather than 90-degree angles. Interesting. You familiar with Buckminster Fuller? He had designed homes that he believed would be an opportunity for everyone to be able to have a home. Cody says, made even longer by attending a funeral in the morning and being nervous about my daughter's exams. I remember. I was thinking about you this morning, my friend. Squirrel Sniper says, greeting beautiful souls from across the pond, but under the same skies. Squirrel Sniper, my friend, how are you? Poor Man says, thanks, Yogi. Been enjoying the channel and following Reaper and Leo. Have a great day, everyone. You too, Poor Man. Thank you. So, I'm afraid, Squirrel Sniper, I'm going to call it an afternoon. Got a few things to do. I'm going to make myself a last meal of the day salad with some fruit. Maybe a little bit of oatmeal. Jacob drops one more thing for our friend Squirrel Sniper. William says, yes, Matthew, I like a lot. Who was the person you named, Yogi, for the housing? Buckminster Fuller. Buckm, and it's one word, Buckminster. Buckminster. Fuller, Fuller. He was a genius, and he was the type of genius that would put someone like Elon Musk to shame. Not pointing anything negative towards Elon Musk, except for the fact that, man, Buckminster Fuller would have shook his head at the nonsense of a space shuttle for pleasure. When he would think about what that amount of money could have done for others. Squirrel Sniper is carving a 18T tree stump tomorrow. Wow, 18 feet. Awesome, Squirrel Sniper. William Hart says, Buckminster Fuller, that's the one. I love Buckminster Fuller. He's the one, and I quote him very often, who tells us to dare to be naive. No paradigm shift is ever shifted unless there was someone who was brave enough. Oh, everyone in the world said, don't be naive. You can't do that. Someone would say to our friend Matthew, don't be naive. You can't build a community like that. It's naive. Dare to be naive. Make that paradigm shift. Our friend William Downey is here. Let's see. Matthew says, look into the word cob house. I will. I have just copied it. Thank you, Matthew. William says, I don't think any genius would shake the head at another. At least I hope unmotivated by ego. I'm not so sure. When you are... Buckminster Fuller had a pretty pure heart. And of course he had an ego. But he did his best to turn it towards service. Everything he did was about giving back. Squirrel Sniper says Elon Musk said he could wipe out poverty in 2019. It's amazing to hear someone say, I could. I could do a whole lot of stuff. I could do 1,000 burpees right now. I'm not going to. I could. Say I could wipe it out and then build a space shuttle as a monument to your own ego. And again, I'm not anti anything. There's just another way. There's another way of looking at the world. The way we've been looking at the world has not helped the world. We're on the precipice. We're on the edge. And we need to step back. We need to reassess. William, I hope you're doing well, my friend. William says, sometimes Yogi shakes his head at my comments. I shake my head at your comments with pure laughter, with pure joy. I'm not sure anyone has made me laugh out loud as often as William Downey has. And they're very subtle. You look, you read it, and then it hits you. I mean, right now, I'm thinking of the comments he made, and I'm already laughing. Let's see. Poor man says, man, that's a whole topic for another stream. Should revisit a Musk plan for Mars. Hey, poor man, remember that. And next time you pop in, put it in the conversation. And again, we could talk about Elon Musk without being anti-Elon Musk. Again, I'm not anti-anything. I'd love to see him have an about change of heart. What I see from a lot, I'm not anti-rich, by the way. I'm not even envious of the rich. I want enough to be content. I have enough to be content. I want to continue with that. But man, when you just start building monument after monument to your own ego, Goldie says, and yet he didn't do it. Exactly. Why? Because it's not profitable. Well said, Goldie. Spoken from someone who has that kind of a heart, as Goldie does. Someone who sees, has a heart of compassion, an empathetic heart. William says, good, and the practicability of entirely different. You can breathe underwater for the rest of your life. Not sure I understand that. Here says, my friends, I advise you, please, when you go support any one channel, you have video full because YouTube boosts your video if you watch full, my friend. Thank you for that, Ahmed. Thank you. Excellent advice. William says, exactly, Goldie. Squirrel Sniper says, poor man, DH, unfortunately for me, the only space is the distance between you and me. Naza in Hebrew means to deceive. Matthew says, it's basically clay, straw, and responsibly sourced wood. Hey, we need to talk about hemp sometime as well. I have with Eric Lapointe before. And who else was it, Eric, where we talked about this? We can make, Squirrel Sniper. We've talked about hemp with Squirrel Sniper. And earth-friendly homes, like an Adobe. Homes will last centuries. Also, the average cob home is extremely low cost. Nice. That's what we need. Cody says, yes, but let's see what teenager will live there. You know what? If a teenager is raised with the thought of joy and contentment versus how much can I get out of life? Mir says, sir, I tried to start Burpees start. Yep, I need to get there. I need to get to Burpees channel, Burpee Reaper's channel. Just a minute. William says, Matthew, that sounds amazing. I've seen another place that is using trees and stuff formed specifically to fulfill a purpose, like trees woven to fencing. Nice. That's awesome. William says, thanks. The Boo one, I think, was best. That was pretty good. I like the how you approach things from the bottom as well. That really made me laugh. The Boo definitely made me laugh too. It still makes me laugh. Boardman says, not a big fan of Musk personally. It's funny you said that. Not a big fan of Musk personally. And that's what I would say. I'm not a fan of Musk personality-wise, ego-wise. Elon Musk as pure, undivided spirit, I'm all for. I'm absolutely in love. Goldie says people are used to comfort. Can't argue that. This is true. Matthew says, William Hart, yes, it could potentially change our world if we could move to more sustainable models for homes and reduce the need for concrete slabs or wood plants. I'm all for that. Hamza, I think you've been here before, right? Hello, my friend. Squirrel Sniper, fibroglass. Grass. I like the way that sounds. Yep, you mentioned that once before. You said they meant just because it can happen doesn't mean it will or should. Technically, you die if you breathe underwater. You would have fulfilled the rest of life's obligation of the statement. I was being a little snooty in my response. My apologies. It's okay. I can't take anything personally when I don't understand it. Goldie says, one of my dreams home is a hobbit house. Bag End. I could see that. I could live in a hobbit house. Squirrel Sniper says, Hamza, what for? I didn't see the actual message, so. Mira is pondering. Matthew says, I understand that people are used to comfort, but if you look on YouTube at some of the videos about cob houses living, you will see that they are fully modernized and that they're just made from earth materials. Yep, you're really just changing something different. You're not exchanging comfort for discomfort. You're redefining what comfort is. The problem is that we are more focused on comfort however, keeping in mind the broader implications of sustainability for our planet. Talking about ultimate comfort. When you can't breathe, you will certainly be uncomfortable. When the temperature goes up, annually another 1-2 degrees, you will certainly be uncomfortable. So, all right, guys, I'm going to have to wrap things up. Where says, Mir, are those your raptors or like a sanctuaries? That's a good question. I was wondering that myself, and I was wondering how they get along with the cats. Where says, oops, wrong button. Matthew says, remember what Eric said about gratitude and being comfortable with what we have. Anything in life can be redefined. And we do. Grove says, I was trying to go to your channel. I figured as much. All right, guys, let me wrap it up. I'm going to go make something to eat. Hey, if you guys aren't tired of me, I'll be back in about 2 hours. Definitely want to talk more about Buckminster Fuller, Elon Musk as well. Eric Point says, another great live. Thank you, Eric. You certainly helped make it so, my friend, and you always have from the very beginning. Roy says, I hope to connect again later. Would love to chat more about Matthew. Chat more, Matthew. Matthew says, my brand DEFY stands for demonstrate every form of yoga. I love that. Absolutely love that. Goldie says, I'm thankful for what I have, but at the same time, I'm striving to give my daughter the best, all the best. Absolutely. So you're putting in long hours to do so. Jace says, cheers, Eric. Cheers to you, my friend Jace. Goldie says, thank you for the lovely live and chat, and thank you for being part of the loveliness. The loveliness, somewhere along those lines. But Goldie is essential to the loveliness for sure. Hater says, hello, my friend. We are calling it a day. I'm going to see everyone later. Again, if you're up for it, come on by. Matthew says, love you all. Merry meet, merry part, grand souls. Beautiful salutation. Guys, take care. I'm going to see everyone later.